Welcome back to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben and this is my review for the Imperfects. I've watched 3 of the episodes. I'm going to do a full season review, spoiler and ending explained later on today. For now, I'm just kind of giving you thoughts on what this series is and the mess with Netflix and what's been going on behind that. So let's jump in. 3 young people undergoing experimental treatment for a rare genetic disorder develop strange superhuman side effects and join forces to find a cure. Created and executive produced by Shelley, Eriksen and Dennis Heaton, who did The Order. And that alone gave me a little bit of worry. I wasn't a huge fan of The Order. Didn't mind it, but didn't think it was great. So a while back, Netflix had this thing called Netflix Geeked Week. And this was one of their showcases, one of their originals. I've been with Netflix's media center kind of press thing for a number of years, probably about 5 years. And it's changed over time. But every single original series or movie that they slap there, this is an original because they've bought the IP or whether they've put the money directly into it, has always had some media statement attached to it. Whether it's press stills or screeners or information, there's always something. However, for this particular title, there was absolutely nothing. No information apart from the one trailer we got, the one teaser we got on YouTube, and then the mention of a very short moment in Geek Week. And that was it. Upon contacting Netflix's PR people and other press agencies that kind of work for Netflix as well, everybody was like, nah, cricket. Which settled me with a sense of dread. Because I don't know if you've ever had the chance to go to a press screening. There are certain moments when your heart drops because they say, yeah, the embargo lifts the moment the film comes out, the day of, like 8 o'clock in the morning, or even like 2 o'clock when the first screening is showing at the cinema. That's when you think, oh, they have no faith in their IP. At the same time, if you've ever gone to a press screening when they give you a free bar and loads of goodies, you kind of know they're buttering you up. That's kind of how they try and twist. That used to be a thing. It's not so much anymore, but that used to be a thing. So I went into this going, I wonder if this is going to be really poo. I'm pleased to report I'm really enjoying this so far. It's quirky. The dialogue from the characters that you get seems to be written somewhat in a, you kind of set things aside, like the believability. But because it's a sort of X-Men monster universe that they're creating, you kind of are able to do that quite quickly, especially how they introduce the characters. Now, I wasn't a huge fan of how they did introduce the characters and their powers. Are 3 main protagonists. They call them the Chupacabra, the Banshee, and the Succubus. That is how they've kind of labeled themselves. And we get introduced to how this affects them. They have this DNA thing that's wrong with them, and they explain a sciencey bit in the first episode, and there's a bunch of exposition that's dropped, and I was like, oh great, they're telling, not showing. Thankfully, throughout that episode, they tend to balance it with showing and telling. There's this nice kind of amalgamation. We need a bunch of information to get you to the viewer to understand where we're coming from with the story, but we don't actually have enough time to show it, so we're just going to spout a bunch of exposition alongside some action sequences. And in talking about that, there is some CG that I thought was fantastic. For the most part, out of the first 3 episodes, there was only one moment when I saw CG that I thought, that didn't look great. Other than that, the Chupacabra himself, less is more, so they do less. So they're obviously, you know, it's very expensive kind of doing practical effects and CG, a mix of both. And it also doesn't skimp on the gore. It's a 15 for a reason, and they push it to the boundaries of that 15. You know, decapitation, lots of blood, lots of gore. It's exactly kind of what it says on the tin. You're getting an older sort of X-Men monster series, and there's enough for you to be engaged with every episode because there's an overarching arc that is playing, and the world is being introduced to us while we are being introduced to these new characters, because basically they're having to set up their own rules and world again, and everybody kind of breathes a sigh of, oh, how many more worlds are you going to set up and then cancel? So I really hope that we get more. I'm looking forward to doing a spoiler and talking about the end. Fingers crossed it does stick the landing, but for now this has been thoroughly entertaining. The score, the acting, the dialogue, especially like our 3 characters banter between each other, they are growing on me very quickly. At the beginning I wasn't really sold. It took me about half an episode for me to even want to carry on watching the next episode. The episodes 2 and 3 really kind of cemented who they were, their characters, uniquely different but also kind of work together as a team. The subsequent episodes are going to be very formulaic, and you are going to be able to guess them. I kind of know where it's going. It's going to be they're going to find other people like them. They're going to try and help them. At the same time, they're on that road of wanting to fix themselves. I really like the Chupacabra storyline with him, you know, this manga artist who basically has the same issues or similar issues as the Hulk. You know, he doesn't want his monster to exist. He wants to destroy it, and he's worried about what he will do when he changes into that monster. The consequences of their powers is not necessarily positive. It is kind of messing with their lives completely. And then there are other bodies that are after this one scientist and maybe just trying to put down all the anomalies that these guys are. It's very entertaining so far. Very surprised with this one. I kind of want to know what went on with the marketing of this. Let me know if you've even heard of this. How did you miss this? Is this even on your Netflix? This is new today. I hope it is. It deserves your time to be watched. I'm hoping it gets more, that it's not just a one-off, that people watch it and it gets some acclaim, because so far I'm very much surprised at how good this is. Maybe because I went in with a really low expectation, expecting the worst because of how this was presented or not presented. Let me know, who's your favorite character below? What are you hoping to see? And when you've seen it, come back and let's chat in the spoiler review. Thanks so much for watching, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long Tuesday.